Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Sophia Lucia Parola with Garden State Film Festival. It is the 22nd annual Garden State Film Festival this year. From March 21st to March 24th, you can check out 200 films, all different types of films, features, shorts, TV pilots, music videos, animations, you name it, coming from 14 different countries in 8 venues in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and Cranford, New Jersey. One of the films you can check out is a short film called The Photographer's Girlfriend. Here to talk with us about this film are these wonderful artists that were involved in making it. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
What's
Hi.
up?
Hi. I love the big interviews. The family's all here. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk to you guys about this film because I love this film. I'm a big fan of Julian here, so can't wait to talk about it, guys. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Before we get into it, I'd love for you all to introduce yourselves and your title or titles in this film. And let's start off with you, Julian.
Oh boy. My name is Julian Garcia. I am the writer, director, editor, producer, and anonymous cafe patron of this movie.
Thank you, Julian. Christina?
Hi, I'm Christine DeBenke, and I played Maggie.
You're next, Olivia.
Yes, I am. Yes, hello. I'm Olivia Dowd. I am the cinematographer of this film.
Woo! Go ahead, Lisa.
Me. Hey, my name's Lisa Nasso. I'm an actor in the film and I played Carol.
Lovely. Last but not least.
Hi, I'm Peter Garrett. I played Albert, the photographer in the movie.
Amazing. Thank you all so much for those wonderful introductions. So, Julian, as the writer, director, and random bar patron, can you please tell everybody a little bit about The Photographer's Girlfriend?
It's a movie about a woman's life whose her life is suspended in midair. Essentially, she's kind of waiting for an opportunity to step into the world, and the world isn't quite ready for to give her that opportunity just yet. So, I wanted to make a movie in which a character had a very clearly defined goal, and then have that goal be kind of misdirected by something completely different, only for them to get back on track at the very end through the events of the movie. It's a love letter to several artists who I have great admiration for. First and foremost, a film director named Eric Romer. It also exhibits my love of Edward Manet's paintings and Beethoven's string quartets. Those were the 3 main sources of inspiration for the movie. And it was also, I think, the first movie I made in which I gave in to what I wanted to be when I was younger, which was a novelist. I very much wanted to write when I was younger, and then film stole me away. And this was the first film I think that I made where I gave into the impulses of wanting to write and write and write, essentially.
I love that. Thank you for that synopsis. And I love that you mentioned some of those inspirations, because one of the things I love about your films, and specifically with this film, which I think is more so than any of the other films I've seen you made, is that it is like an art piece. It's like the string quartet. I could feel that. It feels like a novel, almost like straight out of a painting. It's such a beautiful art piece. And that is thanks to all of you, and especially thanks to our DP. So I want to hear from Olivia. How did you work with Julian in creating these visuals and the shots that really added to the style of this film?
Yeah, Julian sent me a lot of films to watch, which he tends to do. So it was a lot of Romer films that we watched. So one of the biggest one, and is also kind of an homage. The title of this film is an homage to The Aviator's Wife, film by Romer. Yeah, it was just like a lot of Romer's stuff is it's very much like the colors are popping and stuff, and a lot of it is like a lot of static shots and everything like that. So like we went about it going into it thinking like, oh, we want these to look like paintings essentially, and I think we achieved it. There's like so many specific shots from the film that I can think of that we like deliberately, working with Laurel in the art department and everything, trying to get all the props kind of like meticulously placed in the shot. So yeah, I think I also have to thank my gaffer Andy Jean Louis. I can never do anything without him. Yeah, let's go Andy. You know the inspiration obviously with Romero is very high key lighting and stuff like that. But like we were able to like introduce like a lot of like interesting elements, trying to like fake the sun and everything like that. So yeah, it was a very good experience. One of my favorite things is to like composition is one of my favorite things. So like that's why I like working with Julian, because we think a lot about the composition. We talked extensively about all that stuff before we even got to shooting.
Wow. I mean, everything you mentioned, it feels like it really came through on the film. You even said like a painting, which I saw. What was important for you and Julian when it came to finding these shots and filming this? Like, was it location scouting? Was it lighting? Was it composition, or was it everything?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of everything, but I do think that like me and Julian did scout a lot of cafes before we landed on Red Eye Cafe. So shout out also to Red Eye Cafe for letting us shoot there. You know, it's good stuff. It's a beautiful cafe, really good food. Coffee's really great as well. So yeah, I think we visited like a bunch of different places though, all throughout northern New Jersey, and we wanted it to be in Jersey. Obviously, that was like a big thing. Like we even looked in Jersey City. So I think the location scout was the biggest thing. Also finding that park was also a big hurdle to, you know, like with all those scenes with Albert and Maggie and everything. There were a lot of places we visited to find that. So I think that was like the biggest one. And then the composition I think comes next. Because like I think that's like where, the film really shines through, because like, you know, it's like I said, very high key lighting, you know, it's like 1-to-1 contrast ratio and stuff like that. So I think the composition is like the thing that's the most important here. Not saying that I didn't light it or anything with Andy, but you know, I think, yeah, the composition is key for me too. So
Yeah. Wow. I definitely want to get back to you, Julian, about directing this as well. And shout out to Andy. We love him. But you mentioned the park scene with Albert and Maggie's character and Lisa. I mean, this ensemble, guys, you guys all played your parts so well. Like, just, I'm an actor too, and I loved everyone's performances. So congratulations. I want to talk to Lisa first. You lead our film. So much of it is you. What attracted you to this role? Do you feel close to her? Is she very much like you?
Yeah, I really specifically remember the audition breakdown for this was like the longest character description I had ever read. It was so detailed, but in a great way. It almost felt like yeah, Julian just really was inside the heads of I think all of these characters, I should say. But just really like detailed history of her feelings, and not only like okay early 20s woman working in a cafe, but like he said, like someone suspended in midair, like someone on the cusp of doing something great but feeling confused and feeling lost. And yeah, so I think just you could tell like um how much he cared about these characters and how much thought it got into them. So that was really attractive as an actor.
And did you feel like you put a lot of your self into the role, or did you have to pull from a lot of different inspirations?
I mean, I guess, yeah, Carol feels different from me in some ways, but I think just the internal struggle is very relatable. I think, I don't know, all of us in our 20s trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it felt really accessible, and Julian wanted us to bring a lot of ourselves to it.
Peter, you play another lead that we see a lot of you in this film as well. Your character seemed, yeah, like you and Maggie's character seemed really right out of books, very, very specific and stylized. I don't know if that's important on purpose. How did you feel about playing Albert?
I thought it was a challenge to kind of, you know, mount that role, because he has such a specific way of speaking that I wasn't very used to. Sort of touch on what Lisa said, the character description in the audition was again very long, and there were these references to specific music pieces. During the audition, there were some technical issues and I couldn't get my video to go straight up. And Julian said, "You're sideways," and I said, "Sideways is my best side." And he said that that was like the moment that he realized that I could do this because of the just idiosyncrasies of the way Albert thought, where you never really know kind of what he's talking about. But it was a lot of fun to try to break into it and to be this character who is an accessory to somebody else's story, but is so unaware of that, and so sort of inside himself at all moments, which I thought was a lot of fun.
So well said. And I definitely was going to ask you if that if it was challenging to get into the voice, the words, because he definitely had some mouthfuls there.
Yeah, there were some times Julian was very open to just me bringing a bit of myself to the dialogue, and if something felt really strange coming out of my mouth, that I could change that. But as I was getting more into him, I would try certain things, and I'd be like, yeah, that that feels natural for me, but that doesn't feel like Albert anymore, because he wouldn't say something that another person could understand so easily.
Right. And yeah, I say that with respect, because even though it did sound like a mouthful and I was like, I can't say these words, it was so seamless and organic and just beautiful performance all around, guys.
Thank you.
Christina, of course. Christina, you play our beautiful Maggie. Tell me about finding Maggie. Was this a familiar role for you?
No, actually, it was a bit of a challenge, especially early on when we were first doing our read-throughs. We talked exhaustively about what motivated her and why she might be doing what she's doing. But my way in ultimately was she reminded me a lot of a roommate I had who was someone who was kind of like who turned out to be a hustler. And so I kind of see Maggie as someone who really believes in her own mythology, and kind of the story that she's telling herself about herself kind of takes precedence over anything else in her life. And so she's really like using other people to kind of further that narrative. But it is really easy to get drawn in by someone like that, especially.
Oh man, we got some good stuff. It cut out a little bit on the end there. But we got all the good. There you are. It cut out just at the end there. Oh no, and now we can't hear you. We can't hear you. I'm gonna ask Julie the next question. You figure that out as soon as we could start. As soon as you think it's figured out, just yell out something and I'll tell you when we can hear you. But Julian, I'm curious now, just hearing them speak, it seems like all of these characters, which you see on film, but all these characters are so wrapped up in their own world, even as they're communicating with each other and in each other's lives and stories, which is so much like life. I mean, that's what we do in life. What comes first to you? Is it like the story? Is it the characters first? Is there something that comes first?
Structure actually is the thing that hits me first. And it's like I said at the very beginning, I really liked the idea of the structure that I had set out, and then the characters and the story kind of finds itself afterwards. Shots also, I think backwards. I think about images first and foremost. One of the things that I wanted to touch upon actually was how it was a very, very, very fluid process, I suppose, because there were a lot of things that I went into, a lot of conceptions that I had or preconceptions that I had about the characters that got changed after meeting Lisa, Peter, and Christina, because I was trying very hard to take the script away and try to put them as the centerpiece of whatever shot or whatever scene they were going to be in. Because something that I was very, very interested in and fascinated in was their presence in particular, because I cast based off of presence. Everybody here had such a distinct way of being, I suppose, that no plot or dialogue or what were those main two things, but no plot or dialogue or character psychology was going to summarize, and that was the reason why I asked all three of these wonderful fine artists to be part of my film. And once again, to give a shout out to Olivia as well, being able to capture all three of them in the way that we did, and as appealing and painterly a manner as we did as well, to do with Olivia, Andy, and Laurel, being able to surround them, and also my executive producer / costume designer, Alex, DeTrolio, outfitting them and making sure that everything was being presented in the way that I wanted it to be. But to answer your original question, it's not. It's a very, very strange and fluid process, and just being open, sticking to the goal that you have in mind, but also being open to everybody's input and being open to people's recommendations. Like there was one point where we were trying to compose a shot and the composition wasn't working, and Olivia straight up said, like, I don't like this composition, and so we worked our way around it essentially. And it just like it worked better after moments like that. Christina also, for instance, we had a lot of conversations about her character, and there were things that I wasn't sure about, and then she helped to clarify those things, and then we were able to film in a way that satisfied both of us. That was it was a constant dialogue essentially, where the structure was the thing that I wanted, and then everything else kind of just started filling in and populating.
Very interesting. And I love that you said that the fluid kind of process, listening to your cast or your crew and changing based off of what you feel is best for the film. I'd love to hear, before we hop off, one thing, I know it's going to be difficult, that people learned from either playing these roles or working on this project that you're going to take with you in your careers, in life, or in your next project. Olivia, you want to start off?
Oh, putting me in the hot seat. Oh, damn. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me that I learned was to, like, I guess, yeah, like more so speak up when I didn't think that something was working. Like a lot of the times, like especially when you first start out, like you don't want to step on the director's toes. They're like, well, they're hiring me, they're trusting me to shoot it. They like what I do, but like, do they want all of my input? I definitely felt more comfortable like giving feedback where I could. There was also, it didn't make it into the film, but there was a shot where we were having trouble with blocking and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, there's a mirror there, so she can stay here and then make her way over here. And everyone was like, that's an amazing idea. And I'm like, oh, I should just speak up more. Stuff like that. So yeah, I think, that I will take with me to like the next projects that I work on.
Absolutely. I think anyone in any area of their life can take that advice. Speak up when you feel
100%. Yeah.
Whoever feels that they know that one thing that they learned, go ahead. Oh, nobody?
Actually, I'll just go off of what Olivia said.
Go
I think. Sorry, no, I'm just gonna keep going. I think at the beginning of your career as an actor, especially if you're right out of college, you have experienced a lot of student films. And I think a lot of times in those student films, you have student directors who they have become the next Spielberg in their own minds, and so that is their playground, and you have entered it, and you are to do what they are going to do. And I think on this film, we were really, really lucky to work with Julian, who was so open to everybody's ideas that for me, it gave me this permission from myself to speak up, like Olivia said, and throw my ideas out there and throw them against the wall and say, okay, maybe you don't agree with this, but let's do a take of it. Let's just get it done because I want to see it. And I think this whole experience has just helped me learn to like say my piece as an artist and know that at the end of the day, I've expressed myself.
Love that. And Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah. Anything you learned about?
I hope the sound is working.
It is.
Yeah, like Peter, I think also as an actor, sometimes you can get really like set in your ways, but this was kind of a cool exercise in trusting like the bigger picture of something, even if we couldn't individually see it. You know, like so many of these shots were like a painting or like a beautiful image that, within it, like I think we almost couldn't tell until we watched it back. So it really felt like a group project in that way, which is fun.
Beautiful collaboration. Christina, can we hear you, you think?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Love it. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this is even just going off of what Lisa said, like trusting your collaborators and also learning to trust myself on working on this. This was one of my first films. I was dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome on set, and Julian a lot of that, and I'm actually really stunned to see like even the way it came out is better than I ever could have imagined. So yeah, just trusting that you're there for a reason and you're enough and you're just part of the whole, as Lisa said.
Oh, absolutely. Christina, can't believe this is your first film. Could not tell. Amazing. Julian, how do we feel that this will be screening at Garden State Film Festival's 22nd annual year? And that it makes sense. But what are you hoping audiences get from watching The Photographer's Girlfriend? And yeah, how's it feel?
Same thing with presence of the other actors. I hope that they can sense my presence behind the camera. I am most attracted to films in which you can tell who is making it, that there is a voice, a personality behind the camera through the way that they manipulate movement and pacing and composition and style, of like the style of it essentially. And I hope that they take away and feel influenced to be as direct as they can be with their films going forward. Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of talkative films, and I hope that they feel that they can approach dialogue in films in ways that are not your usual film grammar. I hope that that's something that people really take away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm just one of many that'll see this film, but safe to say you can absolutely see Julian Garcia's work in this film. You have a very unique and specific style. I'm a big fan of your work. I can't wait to see more. All of you as well. Can't wait to see more. You're all fabulous. Let me tell everyone watching how they can see The Photographer's Girlfriend. It will be screening Saturday, March 23rd, 2024 in the Film Block, 11:45 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Asbury Hotel. Definitely check it out. I hope you guys will be there. And if so, I can't wait to meet you guys in person. For everyone I haven't met. And thank you again for taking the time out to talk to us, and congratulations.
Thanks so much, Sophia.
Thank you.
My pleasure, guys. We'll see you at the festival.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.